Right then, testing, 1, 2.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yeah, looks good, sounds good to me. What's poppin', friends? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well. Really do hope that. Today it is a Chelsea news video. We are discussing Romano, or what Romano has said about the Chelsea manager and how the Chelsea players feel about the new gaffer Enzo Maresca. We can maybe use Pochettino as a reference as well with some other stuff. Some players starting for not Chelsea, for their respective international teams this evening. Also, Reece James returning from injury. Again, Schrodinger's right back, Reece James. Does he exist? Is he there? And maybe a quick look at some stats with performances and underperformances here in the Chelsea team, which is, spoiler, Cole Palmer's at the top. And we're not using X value, we're using understat for that there. So, thank you as always for joining me. I am so happy to see you here. Thank you for supporting the content. You can do so simply by liking and subscribing. If you do choose to subscribe, hit the bell. Alright, mate, let's get into it. What should we start with? Should we start with just some international news first? 3 players that should be starting tonight, the 10th of October. It's nearly 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. at the time of recording. And Nkunku is expected to start for France, which is really exciting, actually. He's not played for them for ruddy ages, largely because he was injured for a season at Chelsea. Not necessarily been in the first team for that long, but he's been doing all right. I know Mbappe's pulled out. Maybe that's something to do with another attacker space, maybe. But yeah, man, Nkunku's amazing. He's elite. He is world class. Nkunku is world class. I know he might be dunking his hat tricks against Barrow, but that's to do with an integration thing with the Chelsea side and Nico Jackson's profiling. And is he appropriate? In isolation, Nkunku is a world class attacker. Let it be said. Let it be heard. And Levi Colwill and Cole Palmer are expected to start for England tonight. Writes Simon Phillips on the social media platform X. Yes, everyone's gone Cole Palmer crazy. Quite rightly so. Of course, I spoke yesterday about how he won England Player of the Year. He's got the most goal and assists. Everyone's talking about his creativity metrics. Everyone loves his character. There's Burberry videos of him fishing quietly in a jacket. He's just quite a fun. There's viral footage of him always speaking about chippy chips or, sitting down watching his teammates fight while he just wants to play football. He's an endearing character. It's fun, and everyone likes Cole Palmer. So let's hope he can do well for England. Start in the number 10 role, not at right back, which of course actually since Lee Carsley has moved away from. He's like, well, maybe not left back. Yeah, because that is a war crime. We've said it here before. We said it again. And even to be honest, you could play in Saka's position, but you got to play him in the 10. Jude, I don't think Jude's got to ride the bench, especially in a game against Greece. But Bellingham's got to play in a double pivot with Declan Rice. So maybe not Wharton, Mainu and Angel Gomez. Maybe those guys have got to sit out, and you got to play. I mean, a 3-man midfield of Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham is pretty naughty, I must say. So Chelsea players. On the international stage. Let's move on. Alright, mate. We're going to talk about Reece James first now. Again, Schrodinger's footballer. Does he even exist? Oh, I need to prepare the screen for you here, so let's do that now. Reading off football.london. James injury boost. Mudryk excels. Now, what the heck is this? Let's find out. And Liverpool answered Dream Chelsea international break. So I'm going to read this and then we'll talk a little bit about Romano and his quotes on Enzo Maresca. Chelsea fans, hey, that's us. Or probably most of us here, will be keeping their fingers firmly crossed over the course of the international break. Very much a period supporters don't like with Premier League football going on pause. True. One other issue for many is the possibility of players returning from international duty injured and subsequently spending time on the sidelines. It will certainly be quiet for Enzo Maresca and his coaching staff at Cobham over the coming days. Of course, the vast majority of his players are jet setting across the globe to play with their respective international teams. However, he does still have the opportunity to work closely with those players not selected by their nations for international games. Chelsea have made a decent start, of course, to this campaign, and they'll be looking to keep that way when they take on Liverpool in their first game back after the pause in play. So what exactly would be the perfect international break for Maresca and Chelsea heading into the game at Anfield? Well, Football.London takes a look below. Firstly, Reece James. Reece James, Chelsea's captain. He's yet to make an appearance for Chelsea this season. It's not clear as yet when he will be back. The right back suffered another hamstring issue during pre-season, but he's indicated that he could be back for the start of at the start of October. He indicated he could be back soon. Of course, he did on his Instagram saying, "Long story short, I'm doing well. Hope to see you all soon." I know people met him at open training and he says, yeah, he's good, he's not injured, it's about getting up to fitness, he said. It will be a huge boost if the player can feature in some of the training, of course, over the international break. If that's the case, James would have an opportunity to work closely with Enzo Maresca and his coaching team, as a large chunk of players are away on international duty. Lest we forget, he is Chelsea's captain. He can sit down with Maresca. Like, come on Enzo, you're not a good footballer. I'm a friggin' good footballer. Superb, up there with Cole Palmer. He really is. I'm your captain. I'm the registered club captain. Let's have some alone time here and get inside my head. Tell me exactly how I can make your football tick, which almost certainly, of course, will be an inverting right back. Malo Gusto's done very, very well, but the Reece James is guys. Reece James is a better footballer than Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto is amazing, but we just need to understand that. Yes, so, of course, selection headaches. Chelsea and Maresca will be without Wesley Fofana for Liverpool, of course, because he has got a suspension. Tosin can come in, no issues there. Of course, Marc Cucurella, like Wesley Fofana, is suspended for Anfield, and the obvious one would be Renato Vega. Vega is trending upwards massively at the moment. He is, I think, got the call up to the international team as well, which is really, really cool for him. So, Anfield away, if he plays well there, everyone's going to be no issue, get him in there. Do you know what I mean? Felix, Neto and Mudryk to excel. Despite the amount of options available to Maresca at Chelsea this season, those currently on the periphery of the team need to take their chance when it comes their way, which is Felix, Pedro Neto and Mudryk. They could all do strong international breaks as they look to break into Chelsea's Premier League starting 11 on a permanent basis. Felix and Neto, I'm not even sure if both of them start for Portugal, because you've got Ronaldo up front, and failing that, you'll have Gonzalo Ramos. You've got, what's his name? That's going to do my head. I'm going to quickly look. Didn't even have to look as soon as I paused. Rafa Leao playing on the left, and maybe Neto on the right, or, I don't know, Bernardo Silva. They've got a lot, haven't they? But, yes, there could be a time when even Mudryk, even £60 million Mudryk, there could be a time when any of those three, Joao Felix, Pedro Neto, and Mikhailo Mudryk could be starting for Chelsea. Mudryk looks like he's got the hardest task to move Jadon Sancho, but Neto again. Neto could start over Noni. Noni's been playing well. We'll look at some stats at the end, actually, talking about some underperformances and overperformances, and Noni's in there. And yes, the biggest thing for me over the international break is Reece James really getting a head start and trying to get back into this team, and Malo Gusto being rotated, protected, because Malo Gusto should be, because he can start, he's so good, Gusto, he's good enough to be in Chelsea's Premier League team, but look how good the B team, the midweek team is. Nkunku, Joao Felix, Pedro Neto, these are superstar Galactico tier players. Malo Gusto could be the right back in the B team, and then Reece James in the first team. Of course, it could start the other way around while he gets up to fitness. But he's the club captain and he's super, super good. So let me know what you think of Reece James. Right, before we look at these stats, Fabrizio Romano has said this on Court Offside about Maresca. I'm told all the Chelsea players are very happy with Maresca on a tactical point of view, and he has also created a good feeling with them. The players are very happy of how direct and clear he is. They are happy with how direct and clear he is. Now, although players liked Pochettino, Cole Palmer, you know, it was his breakout season. He was amazing. He won the Young Player of the Season, PFA Young Player of the Season, Chelsea Players of the Season. He broke all records or whatever. So Cole Palmer had a great time with him. Nico Jackson did. Other players did as well. I think obviously Conor Gallagher loved Pochettino. But there was always reports, and certainly when Pochettino left Chelsea, there was a lot of reports that came out that there was some confusion, that he wasn't much of a training ground manager, that the instructions weren't that clear and direct. But direct and clear are the words being used here for Enzo Maresca that Fabrizio Romano has been told about the Chelsea players. And we know one thing about Enzo Maresca: he is a training ground coach. He's on the pitch, he's with them, he's moving them, he's standing, he's playing with them, he's like holding the ball off of them. He's only 40 years old and he's quite fit. So he's getting involved, he's playing football. By the way, no disrespect to Pochettino, who, by the way, was an absolute baller. I remember watching an F2 freestyle video of Pochettino, maybe like, I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and he was an absolute baller, Pochettino. But, you know, at Chelsea, he wasn't that much of a training ground coach. He wasn't getting involved. Maresca is, and all the players know exactly what they are doing. And if you know exactly what you are doing, which I don't believe they had with Pochettino that much to a degree, even if we went on a bit of a run towards the end, it was never really that stable football. Certainly didn't know what they were doing with Potter. I think just the chaos around the club with Potter was just absolutely crazy. Lampard Mark II was just a mental time. And to be honest, even in the latter stages of Tuchel, when we had a big turnover of players, new ownership, it wasn't clear anymore, you know. I do feel like maybe finally we are seeing the fruits of this big clear out that the club did from, you know, boardroom to, you know, staff to coaching staff to playing staff. That definitely was done inappropriately, with too much change too quickly, and there were teething issues and hopefully lessons learned, you'd have to say. But there's been a lot of hits, and it looks like everyone's starting to finally settle. Now, I don't want to disrespect Pochettino, because I think his work was very important, even though he's not the manager to take us forward for a multitude of reasons. He got us back into Europe so we could be playing this friggin' B team that we keep referencing here. That seems to be really exciting, and it's a good opportunity to see a whole other set of players play basically every week and try and get into that Premier League team. It's a great thing to happen, I think, personally. So Pochettino deserves that. He also was just there in the final sort of amount of transition before we settled. Do you know what I mean? And there's been mistakes. Potter and his whole reign represents a huge mistake at Chelsea. But was it the right call to sell, you know, Havertz and Mount for 130 million and get their wages off the books? Yes, probably. Was it a right decision to sign, you know, Cole Palmer for £40 million, Malo Gusto for 29 million pounds, Noni for 29 million pounds? Nicholas Jackson for I think 29 million pounds as well, 33 million euros. Was it the right decision to sign Jadon Sancho for 20 million pounds? You know, was it Neto and even Joao Felix for cheap? I'd say yes. Was it the right decision to sign Renato Vega for 11 million pounds? All huge hits. Lavia might prove to be a huge hit. He was expensive. Of course, Caicedo cost a lot of money. Enzo cost a lot of money. So that will only represent a good decision if they're good for a long time. But in terms of mistakes, it's really just that first sporting director Todd Boehly summer. You know, maybe Mudryk. You know, we went too hard for Mudryk too quickly. But But other than that, I think it's all coming together and everyone's settling in. The players that don't want to be there are out. The players that are on high wages are out, including your Raheem Sterlings, your Romelu Lukaku's. And I think we've got it right. You know, I got a lot of heat from a lot of people, not blindly defending the owners because it felt distasteful because we were losing. But I did see a lot of stuff that I personally, as a fan, thought was a positive thing. Now, it's not been a success yet. We're just finally trending in the right direction with a squad that seems unified, with a squad that seems calm, and like Romano is saying here, a squad that feels like they know what they're doing and they feel like there's clear instructions. So the good times are here. Certainly being led by talismanic Cole Palmer. Take a look at this. This is understat. I want to show you guys this quickly. This is Chelsea, right? So when you see plus green, it means you're overperforming, or minus green, sorry, it means you're overperforming. When it's plus red, you're underperforming. So open play, we've got some great finishing. Well, only just outperforming an open play, but we've seen some sitters miss. So actually, there's been a lot of great finishing. Lots of expected goals against green, which actually means that Rob Sanchez is probably really, really good, because I think this is just the Premier League. Yeah, the EPL. So this is just the Premier League, so this would represent Rob Sanchez. Expected goals against, open play, whole goal save, which is really good. If you're like neither or zero, or like, you know, that's fine, but to be green is good. So open play from corners, nearly one as well. Direct free kick plus 3-2, which is 0-3-2, which is good, and penalty as well. So I guess he's made a penalty save for it to be that high. Yeah, it must have been. So really good from Rob Sanchez, actually, except from set pieces, which are not corners and not direct free kicks. Set pieces really, really bad, which is something to look at here. Now, in terms of individual players, I wanted to have a look at this. No surprise to see the boy at the top. It's Cole Palmer. He's outperforming his expected goals significantly already by 2.72 from 7 games, which is an insane overperformance, guys. Of course, he scored wonder free kicks and like wicked little goals. Even his expected assists, he's overperforming as well, probably from good finishing around him. Now, unsurprisingly, keeping to the theme, Nicholas Jackson is underperforming his expected goals by 1.27, which is really disappointing. You want him to be like maybe overperforming by 0.27 or something. So maybe he should have 2 more Premier League goals. He should be on 6 maybe rather than 4. But that's okay. He's doing a lot of stuff right. And actually, if you look at his assists, his expected assists, Nico Jackson, it's very high. He's overperforming by nearly 2, which is good. Noni Madueke, expect XG, he's got 4 goals from 2.89 XG, which is great. Good finishing, 1.11. Of course, he's taken a lot of silly shots when he shouldn't have been in goal score, which aren't really goal scoring opportunities, but yeah, they're not really on the registering. And this is Noni Madueke's problem. He's underperforming his assists. He's not making the right decisions when he's serving up his teammates. And Christopher Nkunku underperforming on both, which is quite worrying. But this is just the Premier League, where he often comes on off the bench for a few minutes and probably snatches at shots. And by then, actually, the team's quite dysfunctional. So I wanted to show you that in terms of attacking numbers. I thought that was really, really interesting. So yeah. Alright, man, let me know what you think. Comment down below on the stuff I've spoken about in this video. I've enjoyed making it. Hopefully you've enjoyed hanging out with me. Daily videos here on the channel, of course. So do consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing, becoming part of the family. And I do hope to see you back here on the channel very soon. Alright, mate. Peace.